Hey, what's up, everyone? So, we're in the most profound week that I could have possibly imagined for this week to be. Um, I haven't observed like what happens when a lot of planets go into Aquarius or Pisces. I'm able to observe it now. It's crazy. Um, I knew what was going to happen, to the extent that I could know that you know Mercury, Venus in Aquarius, Ceres conjunct Neptune in Pisces, Sun in Pisces. You could predict that it would be like this, and that you would feel waves of intuition and intuitive understanding of things. We could have predicted that. We could have um, had blasts of epiphanies and thoughts. We could have predicted that. We could have seen that right now. But nobody could have predicted that it would unfold the way that I think it just did. Is it just me, or has everyone just kind of had something click? Is that just me? I really can't tell because I'm in a pretty isolated place right now. Just staying in this place. Um, but anyway, I think that Ceres conjunct Neptune was about some kind of blasting into an intuitive Neptune and Pisces connection to health, which I think Ceres is about now. I never would have guessed that this planet Ceres. Ceres is, of course, basically the largest body in the asteroid belt. If you think about it, it would make sense that Ceres is something much closer to our consciousness than any other asteroid or centaur planet or something like that, because there aren't, on the asteroid belt, there's an asteroid covering every single inch of the entire ecliptic. You know, Ceres is the largest one. Just like Chiron and Chariklo, um, if that's how you pronounce it, are the centaur planets that are the largest out of like 60 that are out in between the orbits of Saturn and Uranus. You know, there's like 60 of them. If you look at a map of all the asteroids or all the little centaur planets in these two regions of the solar system, there's one covering every single inch of the ecliptic. So only something significant can really be attributed to the largest ones. And I think it's a really clear cut like sign, you know, from the universe or whatever you call the architect of this code, if you will. I think that that's like a clear indication that one of these planets is of importance. So, I never, could have imagined this series would be about this. But ever since Ceres conjoined Neptune, and interestingly enough, Ceres crossed my sun and moon in Aquarius and opposed my moon in Leo, and it conjoined my Mars and hit this core part of my chart, and and it hit my Uranus and Neptune on the cusp of Capricorn and Aquarius. And during that time, I got a fascination with becoming more healthy. And I've been exercising every day, and I've been eating healthy, and I've been obsessed with getting healthy. And there's no, I'm not one to quickly attribute some kind of um, psychological, spiritual process within myself to a planet immediately, because this requires the utmost caution and care and purity to keep this really real and not delving into some kind of placebo land. You can take any asteroid that's on the infinite belt of every asteroid covering the whole length of the asteroid belt and say, oh, this asteroid is causing this, but no, it doesn't work like that. I can well, this is the personal nature of spirituality. It's spirituality. It's not science. This is a sacred, personal, spiritual way to see the the way way that consciousness works. So it makes me happy, to think that this is the way that souls work. I go outside and I stare at the moon, stare at the planets, and I feel like I'm connecting to God. I feel the same way when I go out in nature. So this type of thing, I've been going through a revolution in my thinking myself about how much I love nature and how much I love, I think nature and health are kind of just connected. So this brings me to a deeper explanation of the Saturn-Neptune square. Saturn square Neptune, okay, so as I've said in many other videos, in August of 2015, this whole process of dissolving and breaking down we've been experiencing started with Jupiter square Saturn, 90-degree angle between Jupiter and Saturn, August 2015. In August it was Jupiter square Saturn, and then Jupiter moved into Virgo and opposed Neptune. So in September 2015 we had Jupiter opposition Neptune. Jupiter square Saturn, August, Jupiter opposition Neptune, September, and then Jupiter opposition Neptune was exacerbated by Mercury retrograde in October 2015. The retrograde in October 2015 made Mercury move backwards and get stuck in a square to Pluto. And that even foreshadowed the next place where Mercury happened to get stuck, the next retrograde after October, which is of course the recent one in January 2016. Mercury got stuck conjunct Pluto and square Uranus. But the last retrograde, Mercury got stuck opposite Uranus, square Pluto. So the Mercury retrogrades have touched the same Uranus square Pluto place, and that complements our purging and process of dissolving and breaking down, purging, feeling hard lessons, exploding. It's purging. That's what Pluto does. After much hard analysis, much careful trying to understand it, I've realized that Pluto is purging. I've never understood Pluto better, except for the time when Mercury got stuck conjunct Pluto last month. I've never understood Pluto better than that. And in the final peak of Uranus square Pluto, one of the major outer planetary aspects of our era, I've noticed that Uranus is our seat of ideology and technological advancement. It's Aquarius. The axis of Leo and Aquarius is the Sun, the core identity, and then Uranus, Aquarius, the ideological identity, and this thing that strives for technological advancement, ideological advancement, scientific advancement. So with Uranus in Aries, just like in the 1930s, it's a fiery, youthful, reckless, and very interesting place for our node of ideology in the sky. Just like Uranus in Aquarius, which birthed the internet, the rise of the internet at least, in the late 90s and early 2000s, Uranus in its own sign of Aquarius is the place of ideology and technological advancement in the sky, in the sign of technological advancement that brought the internet. And just like 84 years before that, 84 years before 1996, we had the automobile, and those technologies of the early 1900s explode, and communications technology explode. Uranus and Gemini, according to my theory at least, since it's a similar sign to Aquarius, an air sign, an idea sign, Uranus and Gemini always seems to spawn a wave of technology that just crazy. Uranus and Gemini in the 1800s, I forgot when, but if I'm correct, I need to look a little bit deeper, but if I'm correct, Uranus and Gemini may have been a factor that made the air ripe for the technological advancement of communication devices, like the telegraph, the phone. My history's not right on that. I don't remember, but I wouldn't be surprised. I think that's how it works. So the Uranus-Pluto square, just like the Uranus-Pluto square of the 1930s, when Uranus was also in Aries, we are experiencing a purging out Pluto of our ideological know our ego, our ideological ego. So we've just had our ideology, our collective sense of ideology, purged out, hit with hard lessons, hit with truth, and then we're doing it through social media. So we're all shedding snakeskin of things that don't serve us when it comes to our ideologies. And we've all been going through this process of ideological purification. We've been coming to this new understanding of what we should believe and how we should function. You know, I think this is very much necessary. This is like a holy grail from God to get us out of this terrible place that we're in as a society. Because clearly, we're not right. We're living in these boxes. We're eating food that's not food. We're just trusting this whole infrastructure of medical stuff to, give us vaccines that we don't understand what's in them. We're eating food that's not food. We're going to schools that don't teach us the most valuable things about the world. This is what I've seen growing up. And what else can purify and shed our snakeskin and destroy our preconceived understandings of the world so that we can build something better? Like a fat dose of Pluto. Pluto does that. Pluto, Scorpio, it purges, it brings things to the surface, it destroys illusions. And Aquarius and Pisces are two energies that can connect you to what you grip onto after you've been purged out. You grip onto a new flow of information, Aquarius, a new spiritual connection to the earth, an overarching spiritual connection to the whole world, the whole universe. That's Pisces and Neptune. Uranus and Neptune, Aquarius and Pisces, are some of the only things that can serve to ground us and get us on a path of humanity and purity, knowledge and spiritual health after we've been purged out. So after this Mercury conjunct Pluto, Mercury retrograde the last few months, after all this we've been purged out. The Uranus-Pluto square's final peak is right now, so our ideology has just been purged out. We've been hit with hard lessons, Now we have an opportunity with Mercury and Venus and Aquarius to tap into some ideas that we can't tap into at other times. The time is ripe to tap into ideas and knowledge in the scientific style